In 1981, there was a murder so shocking that it changed the entertainment world forever, yet the killer was never brought to justice. Now, almost 40 years later, we're reopening the case, reviewing old leads as well as new evidence, to try and make sense of a killing which gave rise to a massacre. The who, what, why, and how of when video killed the radio star. Welcome to the Radio Star Murders.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Radio Star Murders. We are breaking down music videos and trying to decide if video did in fact kill the radio star. Today, we're doing our final film themed music video. We've done a whole bunch of them. We did Goonies Are Good Enough. We did My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. We did Dangerous Minds with Coolio, The Gangster's Paradise. And now, Clay, do you want to introduce your final choice for this topic, which you chose?
Yes, we'll be doing Ghostbusters Answer the Call by Fall Out Boy.
Nice.
From the it's Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr., which is one of the, for my money, one of the best film songs ever, I think. I mean, I have a lot of
personal stakes in this.
Personal stakes in it. You know, it's very, Ghostbusters is very much like my Star Wars. Ghostbusters and Back to the Future were basically my Star Wars when I was growing up. But yeah, I mean, I think the song is good. It's linked to the movie in a way that most songs generally aren't. And
explicitly about the movie in terms of the song. Yeah.
In a way that's different, because it's not like one of those ones where they just explain the plot. It's actually kind of beneficial to the way the movie works, because Ray Parker Jr. only had a few days to write it, and he thought the title was really difficult to put into lyrics.
Yeah.
But then he was watching TV late at night, and he saw a cheap commercial for a local, just a local service that reminded him that the film had a similar commercial featured in the movie. For the Ghostbusters business, and that inspired him to write a song as like a pseudo advertising jingle, which is actually a really smart, interesting way to come at it.
Yeah, I read that, and I never realized it, but it makes perfect sense once you understand that that's what he was going for. Like, it does sound like that.
Yeah, and they made a music video that was also directed by Ivan Reitman, and in that music video we have, on a night much like tonight, a lonely girl approaches a lonely house, which sits underneath a lonely highway overpass. I honestly don't know if this is her house or if she's house sitting or breaking and entering or what, but the interior looks like a porn set from a bad Miami Vice episode. Just then, a very ghostly Ray Parker Jr. soon appears wearing a flat gray workman's outfit, ghost clothes. But honestly, if I were her, I'd skip the Ghostbusters and call the police, because that house is full of very real, very weird people hiding behind couches and in other rooms. After viewing some requisite clips from the movie, she obviously ends up getting more severely haunted once she strips down to her skivvies, as the song very clearly states that ghosts like the girls. We're treated to more clips as well as cameos from the most random group of 1984's hottest and most available celebrities, until it turns out that Ray Parker Jr. was not a ghost at all, but a very real person. Relieved that he was just an actual person stalking her through the house and watching her sleep from outside the window and under the bed, the girl walks off with Ray Parker Jr., ultimately having called neither the cops nor the Ghostbusters, leaving this whole narrative painfully unresolved. However, there's another reading of this video where you can surmise, based on how Ray Parker Jr. and the girl walk off into the light after starting to exist on the same physical plane, that the girl was in fact dead the whole time, and the video is the story of her coming to terms with her new existence in the afterlife as a ghost.
Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. What do you think about the song here? We'll get into the music video. But what do you think about the song? You like the song. It's written as a jingle. It says Ghostbusters. Yeah. Kids love it. They can just scream out Ghostbusters whenever he says.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, as far as a song for the movie that, sells the movie as much as it's selling the song, I think it's great.
Yep.
Like, it's like if the chorus of Danger Zone was Kenny Loggins saying the name Top Gun over and over again.
And I like that they snuck in a little bit of a Toy Story. It's for the kids, but the adults will get it too. When he keeps saying "Bustin' makes me feel good," which I think,
yes,
which is definitely
that was something I did not pick up when I was a kid. I can tell you that much.
It's probably my favorite part of the song there, but I mean,
which is in line with the film, because the film has a very similar kind of sense of humor where it's fairly all ages, but every now and then it dips into like, oh, that was kind of crude.
Yeah, a little bit of blue humor going on, and I think it's a great movie song. You know, if it wasn't attached to the movie, I'd be like, what the fuck is this song talking about? But
if it wasn't attached to the movie, it might be "I Want a New Drug" by Huey Lewis.
Yes,
because Huey Lewis sued Ray Parker Jr. for plagiarism, which I think plagiarism cases should be determined by who had the better song. And in this case, Ghostbusters is a much better song than "I Want a New Drug." "I Want a New Drug" is a shitty song. And also, it doesn't even sound, I mean, it sounds close, but there are other songs that have not been sued for plagiarism that sound way similar than these two.
Yeah, I looked at excuse me, I looked at that too last night. I wasn't aware he got sued, and apparently Huey Lewis won the suit, and he got paid something, and they signed a confidentiality disclosure, and then Huey Lewis brought it up on like an I Love the 80s VH1 show, and Ray Parker sued him for breaking their contract, which is hilarious.
Good. I'm glad he did that.
I would agree. They sound similar, but it's more like I would say that this one's more like I would say to be inspired by that sound. I wouldn't say they're direct one-to-ones, and I wouldn't confuse them if they came on the radio and be like, oh, it's oh no, it's not the Ghostbusters. Yeah. It's I think that has to be the prerequisite for music plagiarism, but they do sound similar, I suppose.
Like, have you ever listened to Caribbean Queen and Billie Jean back to back? They're the same fucking song.
Right.
The lyrics aren't the same, but the music is almost identical.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that he did not get sued into oblivion. But but if you listen, but they don't sound similar unless you're looking for it.
Right. Exactly. If no one had said that, I wouldn't have noticed it when I listened to New Drug. Yeah.
Yeah. The same here. There's this new thing that they do a lot now where if you get caught like ripping off another song intentionally or otherwise, but not like the whole song, a lot of times the writer of the song that is claiming ripped you off gets like a inspired by credit now, or like a co-writing credit. Like there's some song
just for the royalties.
Yeah, I forget what it is, but there's some song that's like straight up sounds exactly like this Rob Thomas song. And I actually looked it up, and they gave Rob Thomas like an inspired by credit in the songwriting thing. And it's like, why? What's okay? I feel like you got to have one or the other.
Yeah. To be inspired by Rob Thomas too at the same time.
I know, yeah.
It's like a tattoo on your soul. I think that
I actually have that on my chest, across my chest. It says "inspired by Rob Thomas."
I think that I think it's a good song. I think it's a good tie-in to the movie. It's probably the best tie-in that we've done so far in terms of like how it's branded itself along with the movie and how it reminds you of the movie and everything like that. I think the video is actually pretty bad.
It's terrible, yeah.
And
it goes into my working theory that Ivan Reitman is actually a hack.
Oh, okay.
Because
and Reitman directed Ghostbusters.
Yeah, he directed Ghostbusters. He directed the video. He's made exactly 2 good movies that by my count, and one of those good movies is half of Stripes and half of Ghostbusters
2. Just combined into one. Yeah, I think that, it's almost, this came out in 1984, you think, which is, I put a lot of the blame here on Ray Parker Jr. in the video, actually, because it seems he's giving a performance in the music video that it seems like it would be early in music videos where before people realize that you kind of have to go big on film. Yeah. Like you have to be a little bit bigger or broader than what you think you're getting across. It's like when we started podcasting, your podcasting voice is not really your talking voice. It's like you have to amplify it a little bit because normal recordings and normally watching people sing and dance doesn't really sell all that well. And he's not really selling his performance here in this video, I don't think. Like, he looks like a guy who's just come on to do karaoke and be in the video.
Yes. As an aside, I have noticed that my regular talking voice sometimes does end up turning into my podcast voice, in that I bring the podcast talking voice into my normal life, and it really disturbs me because I don't like it. Because if I start talking about a movie or a show or something, about halfway through I realize I sound like I'm recording a podcast.
Right.
And that can't be enjoyable for anybody else if it's not enjoyable for me.
Yeah, and outside of that, I kind of like the set design. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of stuff. Like the bizarre celebrities yelling Ghostbusters is kind of, it's
Why
not,
is George
not
Wendt there?
George Wendt, the other,
Yeah.
Chevy Chase. Is Chevy Chase in Ghostbusters? He's not, right?
He is not. No.
Okay, yeah, he seems odd. It's really just a who's who.
Especially since he and Bill Murray were not buddies.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's just kind of a who's who, and then I like the interior design of the house and everything like that, and I think all of that kind of works in a weird '80s vibe where there's ghosts and neon everywhere. But Ray Parker's acting is really not doing anything for me.
I had noticed how your new house, your living room, was painted entirely black, and you had just done piping of neon around all of the windows and couches and tables and stuff.
And I sleep under the bed on a little mechanics rollout thing that I can just pop right out. That was the most scandalous moment where the woman's skivvies are shown, as you're saying, where they pull the blanket down and he just pops out from underneath her bed.
Yes.
Bustin makes him feel
Ray,
good.
Ray Parker Jr. definitely has that sort of, his acting style in this is very much like, I don't know what music videos are, so I kind of think this is kind of a joke.
Yes. No one's going to see this, right?
Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of it was him in front of a blue screen with that ridiculous ice cream cone looking microphone.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll lip sync 2 bars of the song in front of this blue thing. What is this going to look like? I don't know.
He actually came up, I guess he came up in Motown and stuff too. Like, he's a songwriter who worked for a lot of other people. So it might just be a thing of this is not his lane, to be the visual Michael Jackson-esque guy that they, everyone is probably wanting at this point in time. Some people just aren't cut out for it. And I think that's the biggest problem with the music video, actually, is his performance in it.
Yeah, and I just think it's as far as ideas go, it's not very inspired. Like,
I love the opening shot of the house under the.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
Yeah, that's neat. Yeah.
But like people jumping out from behind couches and yelling ghosts. It looks like they just got the crew and their kids.
Yeah.
To sit behind the couches or jump up in front of the camera and yell Ghostbusters. I don't know. It's always seemed very weird to me and very. I bet they probably shot this in like 5 hours.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like they spent much time doing it.
Seems to be a theme of our worst music videos. So would you say that?
However, I will say the final shot of the Ghostbusters and Ray Parker Jr. walking down the middle of Times Square.
Strutting is the more appropriate term, I think, than walking.
Is very iconic, at least for me, because I always remembered that shot, and they kind of recreate that at the over the end credits of the Ghostbusters cartoon from the 80s. And when the Ghostbusters video game came out in like 2016, they recreated it with in CGI for the video game trailer.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's a. We talked about Celine Dion in the past one, or Her Heart Will Go On, about how maybe there was a bit too much of the movie in that one, or at least that's my opinion about it. There's too much movie clips. Are there not enough movie clips in this one, or is it just right?
I don't know. I think I don't know. It's tough because they actually there are fewer clips in this one than there were in the other one. As you can tell by where their money went as far as shooting the singer. They had to get their money out of the sets that they built and everything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the balance is. Like, what's a good mix for movie? I don't know if we've actually even talked about that. Like, what a good mix of movie versus music video is for one of these things.
Yeah, well, I think that this one's better.
I will say that it feels like the clips they show in this are a lot more random than the clips that we've seen in other ones. Like, My Heart Will Go On, you've at least got a theme to it. Like, it's very clearly a love song, so you're going to try and approximate the love story and the tragedy of the love story. Dangerous Minds has a very clear theme to it. or whatever the song is for that. I can't. Gangsta's
Paradise.
Now featured in the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer.
How timely of a release we had there, yeah.
But that has a clear theme and tone they're going for. So they pick very specific shots from the movie that get across that tension and anger and stuff. Goonies are good enough. The theme is Nikolai Volkov milking a plastic cow, clearly. But this one, it's not, there's no real theme or vibe that they're trying to, that this song is meant to, well, I guess it's meant to sound like a jingle.
Yeah, I guess they're selling the services of catching ghosts for you.
Yeah. But they're not, but it feels like the clips they're giving you are very scattershot.
I think
all over the place.
I think the difference kind of is that I could not tell you what the plot of Ghostbusters was after watching this music video. Like, it's really just kind of random and very quick cut, where My Heart Will Go On in particular felt like they were just telling you the entire story of the movie. And I think there's a difference between the two there that you want to see. I think My Heart Will Go On went too far in one direction. I think this is fine. I don't think you even need, I think you don't even need a lot of clips. Like, there's none in the Goonies are good enough, right?
Yeah. You could have taken out clips and added more George Wendt, and it probably would have been the same.
would have been fine with it. That'd be my thing. I thought that this one was fine in terms of mixing those clips together. I'm a little surprised by how few of the videos were clever and how they did it. Like, I thought that Big Gun by AC/DC was the best one in that case, where most of the other ones feel like they just have these clips, they're going to insert them into this thing that may or may not thematically line up with the music video, might thematically line up with the movie or not, and then you just kind of walk away saying, I know what that song is for, and in some cases I'm more confused than other cases.
Yeah.
It's not not a thing too. Did you have any other thoughts about Ghostbusters, I suppose, which is I guess we get into whether or not the video helps or hinders in this song. Do you think it helps or hinders this?
I don't think it helps.
Yeah.
It feels the thing with it has always felt to me like something they did just to show the cast and crew. Like the group of celebrities that they add into it very much feels like friends of the show, sort of. Like just Chevy Chase has, SNL connections, and John Candy has Second City connections, and Al Franken has SNL connections, and there's that one guy who is just Ray Parker Jr.'s percussionist who's in there for some reason. But then there's like totally random stuff like Melissa Gilbert and George Wendt.
Yeah.
Maybe George Wendt was just drinking buddies with Dan Aykroyd or something. I don't know. Peter Falk shows up. It just feels very much like we got a bunch of your friends to say happy birthday to you, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It always just felt like really never really meant for wide consumption to me.
Yeah, well, they certainly got better because we've watched a couple of the 80s ones, right? And then we moved into the 90s ones, and the 90s ones feel like they're much better at linking the movie to the song, I think. Like, the AC/DC one came out later, obviously, and it's a better version of that, and The Heart Will Go On is kind of the same thing. Like, it builds that linkage to you. Here,
well, if I was better at research, I would have determined where in the lineage of movie-based music videos this actually falls, because it's probably pretty early.
This
like
I don't
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of movies from before 1984 that had big blockbuster soundtrack songs like this, and I can't think of any off the top of my head. So this might have been one of the first ones to really kind of even do this.
Yeah, that's true. Because what did this lose? This lost to Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You,
which I didn't even know was from a movie.
And it's for Woman in Red. So I don't know what that movie is, but obviously the song worked out for him. So yeah.
Wait. So there's a movie called Woman in Red, but the song is I Just Called to Say I Love You. Do you think the guy that wrote Lady in Red was just like hoping that he could thread that needle but never got the phone call?
It might be. It might be that case where I suppose Ray Parker got more direct instructions, I think, of what to do. The Woman in Red. What the hell is this? Woman in Red. It is.
Oh, you know what? Flashdance, 1983. That was a big music one. They had What a Feeling and Maniac.
Oh, sure.
But even so, even if that's before it, which it clearly is, that's only a year before. So this seems like it was still a fairly new endeavor.
Yeah. No, it definitely is. I guess it's been interesting. We watched just 4 or 5 of these, I suppose, and I wouldn't say any of these really excel. AC/DC is the only one that I think I would say really excel at it. So I don't know if that's just a maybe we're going to find that less music videos hold up over the course of time, or if we're going to say that maybe film themed ones aren't going to be the best of music videos.
Well, I mean, the movie themed ones are probably meant to be the most fleetingly relevant or disposable, because they're really only meant to sell the movie for the length of time the movie exists.
That's true.
In the theater. So you just kind of, hitting someone with a shotgun blast of content to get them into the theater, and then after that, who gives a shit,
Yeah, I suppose.
They all eventually end up on the karaoke list at somebody's birthday, but
there's still that lot of there's a lot of crossover between commercial directors and music videos. And I don't know if it's because they're similar or if it's just because that's where the work is that people will go for, but
except for the video for Thunder, because that was a film.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, he's an art, a well-trained art student, but I think I guess that would be the on some level all the music videos are commercial because they're trying to sell the album. And
yeah, I mean that's what they are. They're just commercials.
Yeah, and so it's weird that doing it for a film, maybe it just sort of artificially brings it, because you have to include the content of the film, sort of, and it feels kind of clumsy in a lot of cases. Maybe that's the case, but I'll be interested to see if things change after that, because I do think that when we do these topics like this, I think you're going to see that the videos are similar within the genre, not within the genre, but within like the topic, they might be more similar than we would expect. And you'll have to get like really broad topics to see a lot of difference between the things, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
That's it. So I'm picking next topic. I'd agree that I think that the video doesn't help the song at all. I think the song is much better before you watch the video, actually. And that's...
I'll continue.
Well, that's pretty much it, I think. Like the video is pretty cheesy, and I was like, wow, I was watching the video saying, wow, is the song not as good as I remember? Then I listened to the song, and I love the song. So it's really the video is impacting how I feel about it.
Yeah, the video really makes the song feel a lot cheesier.
It does. Yes, it does. It sounds like a pretty cool song when you're not watching the video. But then when you see him dancing around and singing it, it's like, wow, this is kind of a hokey tune. But I think it holds up on its own.
The one thing that I've noticed about this song over the years, because I've listened to it many times and many versions of it, it is a very hard song to cover. I don't know why it is, but there's the mix is never quite right as far as like what melody or what music instrument gets the most space to work and is more up front. I think see, if you don't believe me, just look up Ghostbusters cover. They just never quite sound right.
Okay.
And this goes on a list with songs that I find are very difficult to cover. Another one being Louie Louie by the Kingsmen, which I think is the greatest rock and roll song ever written.
Yeah.
But that's a discussion for a different time. But yeah, it's a very well constructed, very well mixed single that does its job incredibly well. I don't think that the music video helped the song, but I 100% think the song helped the movie.
Yes, 100%. Yep.
Yeah, like the movie's great as it is, but that song just, boom, next level.
Yeah, that's funny. It's just that earworm thing, I guess, right? Like if you can insert the earworm into the consciousness of people and then just kind of go off of it, like it just builds something, I think, right there that you can really stick around with. Like it holds. Songs manage to hold better than other media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's why it's important.
Similar to My Heart Will Go On in that way, where it helps the movie and it really does stick in your ear.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be done with the film themed episodes, so we're going to be moving on to the next one. I haven't actually decided what I want to do for a topic, but we'll let you know next week when the first one comes out. I've got a couple rattling around in my head, and we'll see where we stand. We'll do 4 of those, and then we'll change the topic, and that'll be the way that we go forward. Clay, do you have anything else you want to say?
No. Bustin makes me feel good.
Bustin makes us all feel very, very good.
Saying that out of context is really disgusting.
We're all happy to have done Ghostbusters. We're all happy to have seen all these filmed music videos. Leave some comments below about what topics you'd like us to cover. I might not be able to get to it in time, but
I do have something to say. If you want to, I don't know how you feel about mashups, but if you go on YouTube and you look for Ghostbusters and Thunderstruck, there's a pretty fucking awesome mashup of between Ghostbusters and Thunderstruck that is worth a listen.
Nice. We'll give that one. I'll put a link to it. Guys, thank you very much for listening. Support the show, follow the social media, and otherwise we'll be back next week with a new topic and a new video. Until then, see you next time.